right, this is Coranda, Australia, and we are staying at the Cassowary house. And there's a picture of our cabin, and Ken is sitting outside the cabin doing some work. That's the only way we can get the internet. And so I decided to walk to the main house and talk to the owner. And normally in the morning, this is 8 o'clock in the morning, she fills the bird feeder up. And they had been having a rifle bird come into the feeder. So I took my camera and decided to go and chat with her and see about if the rifle bird showed up. So I'm standing below the deck and talking to her while she's upstairs in the deck. And all of a sudden this big bird comes up the hill. And I'm sure I had panic in my eyes. And she says, "Oh, that's okay. It's just the southern cassowary. And don't run. Just back up slowly and sit down on a chair." So I did that. And she said, "Oh, by the way, you can start filming." And I'm like, okay. So I filmed a little bit of it. And then all of a sudden the cassowary, the male, he comes right up to my face and looks at me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And then he decides to peck my knee. And she goes, "Oh, that's okay. That's okay. He's just checking to see if you're food and he won't like you." And I'm going, okay. All right. So then he had 3 chicks with him. So the 3 chicks, they decided to try out what Daddy did. So the 3 chicks, one at a time, came up to me and looked at me. Now, of course, they're not looking at me in the face because they're not quite as big. But each one of them decided to peck me. So one of them pecked me in the knee like Daddy did. Another one decided to try out my shoe. Didn't like that either. Third one, I don't even remember what he pecked. But then they went away because they decided I wasn't in anything worth eating. So as I'm sitting there, the father, the male, he decides to go sit down. So he sits about 10 feet away from me. And he's just sitting there while the babies are all running around, the chicks. And all of a sudden, the woman who's on the deck says, "I need to take my dog to the vet." And I said, okay. And she says, "You'll be okay without me here, won't you?" And I said, hell no. I said, "You're not leaving me here with the cassowary sitting right there." So she takes some bananas and she throws them off the other side of the deck, and the cassowary is seated, so all 4 of them go running on the other side of the deck. Meanwhile, I went running back to the little cabin we were staying at. So unbeknownst to everything that just happened to me, Ken was sitting there just having fun working on the computer. So I tell him the story, and he's like, I think a little pissed off that he didn't get to film any of it, but the other thing he decided was that it was really a sad thing that the cassowary didn't kill me, because he said I could have taken a world tour and an Australian tour and say, my poor wife, she got killed by a cassowary. So that was the end of my cassowary story.